Hey everybody, I'm back here to do another review video. My friend and I are still doing reviews about characters that we like. This time we're doing reviews on Ariel from The Little Mermaid and Cruella De Vil from 101 Dalmatians. I'm here to do my review on Cruella, and he just did his on Ariel. Then he'll do his on Cruella, and I'll do mine on Ariel. Anyway, before I start my review, there are a few things that I need to say. For starters, Cruella is an especially special character to me. For a long time, she was my favorite fictional character. Until Scrooge McDuck recently took her place, but 101 Dalmatians was the first movie that I ever saw when I was less than 2 years old, and, well, she was my favorite character in it, and was my favorite fictional character for a long, long time, and she's still one of my favorite characters. I have my Cruella action figure that I got in a McDonald's Happy Meal when I was really little. I used to carry her everywhere with me. I don't know how well you can see her, but anyway, as popular as she is, she does seem to get a lot of hate from both parents and Disney villain fans. And because she's so special to me and has such a special place in my heart, that just bugs me. Especially the complaints that they give. So, let me get started reading the common complaints that I tend to hear. According to parents, she promotes animal cruelty and promotes killing animals for fashion. She's too scary. She's evil. And, get ready, she's too sexualized. According to Disney villain fans, she's a weak villain because her motives are weak, she's boring, she never does anything for herself and always has her henchmen do it, and she has no superpowers. Okay. Starting with the complaints that the parents seem to have. She promotes animal cruelty and killing animals for fashion. Seriously? Seriously. Okay. While Cruella herself does kill animals for fashion, obviously her main motive is to kill the puppies and make a coat out of them. And while she is abusive to animals, she's the villain. She's the antagonist of the story, and so it's shown as being negative. In that sense, Scar from The Lion King promotes killing relatives you don't like. I mean, seriously, how is the villain doing something actually promoting that thing? I have never understood that. Could any of you please explain to me how how she promotes animal cruelty. Because to me, the whole point of the movie was was her getting her just desserts for trying to kill the puppies for a fur coat, thus demoting animal cruelty. She's too scary, and she scares little children. Okay, like I said, it was the first movie that I ever saw, and I liked her from the very beginning. So she never scared me as a little kid, but maybe she does scare some little kids. Having said that, if your child is afraid of a, a skinny old lady, they probably don't need to be watching cartoons. I mean, yeah, I understand that kids are afraid of different things, like, the Sid's toys from Toy Story scared me when I was little. And, I heard some person say that, Constantine from Muppets Most Wanted, scared their child, but I'm sorry, I just don't see how she looks that threatening. I mean, especially when you compare her to other Disney villains like Ursula, uh, or Jafar in his snake form, or uh, Maleficent in her normal form or in her dragon form. I don't see how Cruella looks especially frightening. So, I mean, if your child is frightened by her, uh, they probably don't need to be watching cartoons other than like Thomas the Train or Barney or something like that. She's evil. Um, well, I suppose some people might argue that she's um, crazy and not truly evil, but yeah, she's she's evil. She's the villain, and um, well, all stories need to have an antagonist, or they'd be pretty boring. So, um, what's your point? you you don't want your child watching any story that has any evil character in it. Because again, if that's the case, your child probably doesn't need to be watching any Disney movies. Uh, because most of them, with a few exceptions, have a pretty obviously evil character in them. I mean, and I don't really see what I don't really see what the problem is with your child watching a movie that has an evil character in it, as long as the character is family friendly. Just my opinion. She's too sexualized. Really? That's that's your opinion? because, uh, I mean, I can't think of any sexualization of her at all. I mean, yeah, she's concerned with fashion and everything like that, but if you want to look at a villainess that's too sexualized, look at Hollywood, or even some of the Batman villainesses like Harley Quinn or Catwoman. I mean, heck, they're more sexualized than she is. That one I do not get at all. I mean, I think that the closest thing to anything romantic that she did in either of the cartoon movies was she flirted a little with that artist that drew her spot pictures. Lars, wasn't that his name? So that one I do not get. Anybody care to explain it to me? I'm all ears. Okay, moving on to the Disney villain fans' complaints. She has weak motives. Okay, well, weak motives are in the eye of the beholder. I suppose that you could argue that wanting to steal puppies and turn them into a coat are weak compared to Ursula wanting to conquer the ocean, or Jafar wanting to take over uh, the at the city of Agrabah and become Sultan. But I mean, does every villain have to want to take over the world in order to have strong motives? Because, or I mean, or even in order to be a good villain, because I never thought that. I mean, even if you look at a villain like hmm, like the Joker, I mean, pretty much his only motives are to cause chaos, and he's still a great villain. So, I mean, yeah, while it's arguable that her motives aren't as strong as some of the other Disney villains, I still don't see that makes her any less of a good villain. Uh, I mean, look at Maleficent. Uh, her, her motive was not getting invited to a party and seeking revenge um, on them, and I still think she's an amazing villain. Okay, she's boring. Boring is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. But, um, no, I never saw her as boring, and the people who claim that she's boring have never really given a reason, so I don't really understand it. All they say is she's boring. I don't like her. Uh, I mean, to me, she's always come across as a very interesting character. Um, I suppose you could again. I suppose you could argue that she's not as interesting as a character like Ursula or Jafar or Maleficent, because she doesn't have epic battles and that kind of stuff. But do you really need that kind of stuff to make a character interesting? I mean, I kind of feel like you get to know her better than you do a lot of the other Disney villains. I'm not saying that she's by any means a deep, complex character, but I do feel like she has more depth than a lot of the other Disney villains do, just because of the time that you get to know her in both the original movie and in the sequel. She doesn't do anything by herself, her henchmen do everything. Really? Really? Okay, name 5 Disney villains that don't have henchmen doing the majority of their work. I mean, look at Scar. Look at Jafar. Look look at even Frollo. Look at Oogie Boogie. Look at Maleficent. All of those villains have henchmen doing the majority of their work. So how does the fact that she has Jasper and Horace doing a lot of her work make her a weak villain? I I do not understand that. And I would appreciate it if someone would care to explain it to me, because to me it seems like you have a lot of double standards. And finally, she has no superpowers. Really? Does a villain really need superpowers in order to be a strong villain? No. Look at the Joker. Does he have superpowers? No, he doesn't. Look at Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. Does she have superpowers? No, she doesn't. Yes, the majority of the Disney villains, like Jafar and Ursula, the Evil Queen, uh, I don't know how you pronounce his name, the Witch Doctor from Princess and the Frog. Yes, they all have superpowers. So she is a bit different from the run-of-the-mill Disney villain, but how does that make her bad just because she doesn't have superpowers? How? It doesn't. Anyway, the reasons that I've always liked Cruella is because I think that she's a very interesting character. Like I said, I think that you get to know her better than a lot of the villains. Especially in the second movie, you really kind of get a glimpse into how crazy she actually is. And that sort of adds to her complexity. Like I said, I don't think she's a super complex character, but she does have a lot more depth than a lot of the Disney villains do. A lot of my reasons for liking her is just pure nostalgia, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I also think that she's very unique among the Disney villains, the fact that she's honestly such an epic villain that does everything without any superpowers, or anything like that. While she's no longer my all-time favorite fictional character, she'll always have a special place in my heart for being my favorite childhood character. There will be a link to my friend's Ariel video in the section below, and in a few days I'll be doing my Ariel video, and in a few days he'll be doing his Cruella video. Bye, everybody.